Well, so I have in the studio Samson Ahi. He's a member of parliament for Bodi. In an election year, it's important you mention the constituency name first. Bodi, it's in the western region. But he's a deputy minister for water resources, works and housing. It's a privilege to have him in the studio. And thanks for joining me. We speak outside because we tend to ask questions of each other about water and things like that. But now he's in the studio, so we'll ask him, when are the communities going to get water? Particularly in Nsawam, we have communities close by Cape Coast itself, areas in Accra, areas in Tamale, etc.
Yeah, thank you very much, and good morning to your listeners. I think we have some challenges with regards to supply of water in some parts of the country as we speak. The particular case has to do with the Nsawam and the Adwajiri area. Our system there ran out of water, and so we didn't get raw water to treat for the people. And so it created some panic in that area. So what, as a ministry, together with the Ghana Water Company, we did was to put in place some remedial measures to get them water. So the first thing we did was that we were able to dredge the stretch, 200 meters away from the intake. It's a large deposit of water, but because of the silt, it can't flow into the intake. So we dredge it to allow free flow of that deposited water into the system.
Okay.
And so we were able to pump some water from the system and then distributed it, even though it was not in large quantity because we couldn't pump for so many hours. We have to do 2 hours and stop and allow inflow into it before we can. But that also helped to supply water. So our system is operating, but at the low capacity. So that is ongoing. And then we also complemented it with provision of water by tanker operators. And so we asked that the water operators should distribute water to social centers, that is the hospitals and the schools, the prison services, and so on and so forth. And so that was done. And we also placed some at vantage points for domestic use by the people. So this was, in fact, this one is ongoing. Still there, we still have some tanker operators in that environment. And then the major problem was to get raw water, more water into the intake. So the Vice President last week chaired a meeting which my minister, Dr. Kokwiyad Mamensa, Alaji Kronsdauda, he is the immediate past. So in that meeting, it was agreed that we should go and dig boreholes so that we can extract the water into the intake. So we have successfully, as I speak now, we have successfully done one. We have dug 3, but there are other 2. The water, the volumes coming from that 2 is not enough. But the successfully dug one, we are expecting that we'll get about 40 million gallons a day. And so we have finished. By tomorrow we'll fix the pump, and so that we'll mechanize it so that we can pump water into the.
And that's in Nsawam.
That's in Nsawam.
Because it had to take the vice presidential candidate of the MPP to go and cut sword for 4 boreholes to be drilled in the communities.
No, we have started. Maybe he's going to do that to support the situation. There are other NGOs who are also
working.
Also providing boreholes there because of the nature of the problem. And so we actually called on the stakeholders. We actually called on the actors in the water sector to support. And so I believe Dr. Baumia, if he has done that, it's just to complement the effort of government. And so that is that.
Just about a week or 2 ago, you were quoted, and I also listened to you variedly on the media, relating the current situation we have with the weather condition that we're experiencing, and so that's leading to a dry up of the various water bodies. How very much is that related? And if that is the persistent problem, how is that going to lead to acute shortages in the future or in immediate future?
Yeah, I think as a country, there's a need for us to protect our water bodies. And
you mean in principle?
In principle. What is happening now is that if you go to most of our river bodies, they have been exposed to the very weather because people have farmed along the river bodies. People are building sometimes even 10 meters into the rivers. People are mining inside the rivers. People are polluting, human activities destroying the water bodies. And so it has negative implications on getting raw water. Our commodity is the raw water before we can treat it. And so largely, if we are not careful, if all of us collectively don't understand the need for us to preserve our water bodies, we will run into problems. This year, the Harmattan has kept long. I mean, normally by the end of December, we should see some relief, but this year it's still even persistent. And so it has been a major problem for us. Going forward, in the Ministry of Water and Housing, we have an agency called the Water Resources Commission, which is charged to protect and make sure we preserve our water bodies. And so we are appealing to authorities in these communities to support government to preserve these river bodies. In fact, if you go to Weja now, last 2 years, the Water Resources Commission launched a program, a buffer zone program.
Just protect the banks
yes,
of the dam.
Yes. And the idea is that we should not allow people to do any activity 100 meters away from the river. And so we are implementing it. Before, if we went to Weja, you will see people even fishing on
or having built
yes.
their settlements.
So there's activities going on. And for that matter, we have collaborated very well with the military. And now we have a post there to ensure that
nobody
encroaches the distance. And so...
how is that going to be extended to the other water bodies? Now, particularly when we know that... yes, the Densu particularly, the PRA, witnessing a lot of galamsey activities, and so making it difficult for the water company or even community water to be able to refine the water before they are able to distribute.
Yeah, I think it's a policy which is ongoing, and the idea is, first of all, trying to protect where we have our intake, where we have our systems. And so I believe River Pra, they have also started some work along the River Pra, and then Weja has been done, and Pong too has been done. And so going forward, we'll look at Densu, which is now given as the major, because that's the source of water for the Weja Dam. And so we will look at it critically. But my concern now is that my experience in the ministry is that we in the ministry, we can do whatever we want to do, but we need the community involvement.
But are you involved in the community?
Yes,
because then stakeholder engagement becomes
because the
critical.
point is that I'm saying this because the district assemblies have the mandate to issue permits for people to build. So if I go to River Densu in Adwajiri, and then 10 meters into
away
the
from
river, somebody is building. The person produces...
Are you engaged in the various MMDAs?
Yes. Okay. That's why I'm saying it. So, and the person produces permits, which has been duly issued
by the local assembly.
By the local authority. then it's a problem.
It becomes baffling
You
because you will
understand?
not be there to monitor.
Yeah, that is it.
They have
And
to be
so-
the monitoring agency.
Yes. So
how do you hope to make sure that you deepen that very collaboration and coordination with them? Because at the end of the day, all of those chains of institutions are governmental institutions or state institutions,
Yeah.
and the collaboration should have been better. We shouldn't be having you here complaining.
yeah, I think we have been collaborating very well with them, but as you know, in every institution there will be that
Some lapses.
that lapses, but we have to deepen it, and also not only the this assembly, but the chiefs and opinion leaders living in such communities, because we know who and who are doing manning in the river bodies. We know who are throwing waste into the rivers, but we don't complain. You see, and so I think going forward, but I'm very, very certain that with this recent problem that all of us have encountered, now when we are talking about the need to protect our river bodies, I'm sure we'll get a support. Before, people felt that government was unduly harassing them, and people felt that that is my land, I'm entitled to it. And so we have destroyed the vegetative part of our river bodies. And so it will cost us money to reclaim it by embarking on afforestation to plant trees along the river, because these rivers, they need this ecological distance before they
to
can
serve as buffers
Yes.
and windbreaks.
Yes,
and things like
and so we have to embark on this massive afforestation to reclaim the vegetative parts of our river body, which have
The difficulty
have
many
lost.
people have is that we know there are things in principle or in theory, but it's just the implementation that gets to be difficult.